we are going to take an in-depth look on this final review of this Finch Buffalo Tooth, one of the most unique knives that has showed up on the channel. I dig this a lot. We're going to look at the good and the bad, and I'll let you know at the end whether it's a yup or a nah. Guys, we're getting back to this. This is that Finch Buffalo Tooth. Now, this is based off of a sunfish, which is the pattern of slip joint knife that this is based on, but this is done as a flipper. I'll put a picture of the original version of this, the ones I've seen, like the case sunfish. This is a very well done knife. So this is done in titanium and 154 cm steel. It's done in a satin finish. You're looking at a 7-inch overall length with a 3-inch blade length. You've got a fairly thin package here. It is coming in at just a 1/2 inch thick. Now, I don't think that that is including the pocket clip, but that's the handle thickness. Like I said, done in flipper frame lock configuration. It is coming in at 5 ounces. Now, I got to tell you, this is not a typical knife for on the channel because this is big and beefy. You have got some beautiful, beautiful fit and finish. But let's get some size comparisons out of the way before we talk about all that stuff. So your first knife is going to be simply what's in pocket today. This is the QSP Kestrel. You're going to see a video about this coming up or already have seen it. Not sure how these videos get released. So there you go. There's a knife for comparison. Your next knife is going to be the Benchmade 940, and this is a knife a lot of you guys are going to know as a size reference, and you can see how just large dimensionally this knife is. It's a really big knife. So, and then your final knife, as always, is the Chris Reese Sebenza Large 21. You can see a good bit longer on this, but this is most of you guys are going to know the size of this knife. This is a big, beefy knife. So let's get this out of the way and talk about this knife. This knife is really cool. I have to say, this is a very cool knife. This is one of the most unique knives that has showed up on the channel. And it's because of the dimensions of it that make it so unique. It's not that much different than most of the other folding knives we see on the channel. It's just dimensionally unique. It is very, very broad. That gives you a couple things. It is a comfortable knife to hold because you have so much space. So a lot of times thinner knives have a tendency to be uncomfortable because you have to engage tighter. Well, what you can do on a thinner knife is make it broader, and they have definitely went out of their way to do that. Fit and finish on this, before we get into anything else, fit and finish on this is gorgeous. They did such a good job doing the jigging on this titanium to make it like you would do on jigged bone, which typically a lot of your traditional folders with a nail nick have a bone inlay on this. Nicely done to make it look like a bolster. All that jigging done on the on the lock bar as well. Action is really smooth. All of the Finch knives have come incredibly smooth. The 154 cm blade on this is nice and broad, and that allowed them to grind this down to a immensely thin behind the edge profile. This slices so well that it just glides through anything I've put in front of it. Access to the lock bar, beautiful. Like I said, the action on it is great off of this flipper tab. But the cool thing that Finch Knives has been doing with all these knives is they maintain the visuals of having that nail neck, which is still very functional deployment if you want to do it that way. You've got really an awesome feel in hand when cutting, but what they've done is, I couldn't figure this out on some of their knives. They've jumped the flipper tab, and this was the first knife that really, it made sense to me why they do it, because I was like, oh wow, so you can get up on this flipper tab, use it like a finger choil. You've got good traction on that, and you can definitely choke up on this knife because this knife is a little short. It's about 3 and maybe a quarter grip on this, but because it rounds over, I can't really use that pinky on it. But if I get up here, I got a full 4-finger grip, and I definitely power down through stuff. Now, this knife has done a lot of cutting, and the finish has held up very well. Finch has done some of the best satin finishes. I mean, you can see some scratching just at the very edge. Some of their finishes are just amazing. The reciprocity, which I put in my pocket for the first time the other day, beautiful finish. They are doing such good work at the price you're paying. The action on this fit and finish, like I said, this thing is super smooth. It is just shy of drop shut. Now, in pocket, this thing slides in and out nicely. They did such a good, I wish other companies would take a lesson from these guys. Do you see how nice and chamfered off that is? With this cutout being on the outside, it has a tendency to cut pants or catch pants and push down on. This does not. It is a nice position. And the pocket clip on this does not have too much tension on it. So even though it's on the jigging, it doesn't tear up pockets. And it's not pushing material down in here. So well thought out positioning on that. The pocket clip sits nice and deep in the pocket, not like a full deep carry, but it does sit nice and deep. And it doesn't have at all a hot spot to it. So as far as any of the other exterior things on it, there's nothing wrong with this knife. And I do like the fact that on this lock bar, all they did was just knock the edge off of it. You have access to that full lock bar. It's really easy to deploy. It doesn't necessarily always need a cutout here. And they did not leave a sharp spot on this when it's in hand. So all those things being said, great stuff. Let's turn this around. There are a couple things about this knife that are just glaringly obvious to everyone, but we'll talk about those right after you guys hear from this video sponsor.
Guys, what's the two most important things in the kitchen? It's your coffee brand coffee, and your kitchen knives. Doll Strong Knives, two of my favorite affiliate links. Go check them out down below. Coffee brand coffee is 5% off if you use my coupon code CrazySharp, all caps CrazySharp, or just use the link. Guys, back to the knives.
All right, let me start this by saying there is nothing functionally wrong with this knife. I have not had a Finch that had a single machining or QC problem, any of those things. They've all come gorgeous. All of these are personal preferences. One, this thing takes up so much pocket space. It is a fun knife, and yes, it cuts incredibly well, but it takes up so much space in pocket that you pretty much can't put anything else in your pocket knife-wise and still have access to the pocket. Like if you've got your keys in your pocket, you're gonna have to take this knife out of your pocket to get to your keys. Next, it is so heavy for a knife. This could have easily been much lighter if they had done some weight reduction in here. This thing is coming in, I think, at over 5 ounces, which is a lot, just to put things in perspective. So yeah, this is coming in just under 5.5 ounces. This is a much bigger knife done by Grimsmo Norseman, which I just wanted to grab a large knife for perspective that has about some of the same thickness dimensions. This is coming in under 5 ounces. So that's a heavy knife. So let's get this out of the way. And then pretty much the last thing, there's not, like I said, not much to say about it. Last thing, I typically would not say this, but this knife needed a spot for a lanyard. With it being the size it is, having a lanyard that, like if I wanted to hold it in this grip, having a lanyard that I could get back behind would open up the use of this knife for me a little bit better. I don't have anything else to say. There's not a lot of negative on this, but like just a lanyard post right here, separate of these two standoffs, would have been great. But do you want to talk about gorgeously done knives? You're never going to find one that is better than a Finch, in my opinion. So with that being said, let's turn this around, do some final. Oh, I forgot to do the rating. So on the yup or nah scale, what are we looking at? I'm going to say it's, even with some negative stuff, it's a yup. It's a yup. It's a good knife. I would like to have one of these in my collection just because it is so unique. I don't think I would carry it very much, but it's an overall win. I have not had a bad Finch knife. This is really unique, really interesting, and a lot of fun. So now let's turn this around, do some final thoughts, and send you out about your day.
There you go, guys. This is a great knife. It's unique, but still very functional. This is a good knife. A lot of people are going to love this. I just can't carry it because I carry so many other items. I carry like 2, sometimes 3 knives at a time because I do a lot of reviews. This is just something that just takes up too much pocket space. I would love to have one of these and just have it in my collection as just something cool to have. But very functional knife. If you're looking for something like this, this may be way to go. I'll put a link to it down below. It is a lot of fun. So gotta apologize. My wife accidentally took my Howells hat to work. It was in a box of stuff that she grabbed up. I set it on top of a box, didn't even think about it. She took it to work with her. She texted me, she's like, I've got your hat. So we're gonna have to run with this one for a little bit. Go Steelers. Guys, that's it. If you guys want to support the channel, I've got sponsors down below. You guys saw a sponsor ad. Don't know which sponsor it's gonna be yet. I'm trying to get more ads for more of the companies. I have 3 sponsors: Tempered Trail, Coffee Brand Coffee, and Doll Strong Knives. So you can visit any of those with the links down below. Supports the channel. Doll Strong Knives right now has got a Halloween series of knives that they're releasing. If that's something you're interested in, Coffee Brand Coffee and Coffee Brand Coffee and Temper Trails both have a 10% discount if you use my link down below, or you can use coupon code CrazySharp, all one word. Saves you at checkout both at those two sponsors and Rosecraft Blades, FireandForgeKnifeWorks.com. If you want to support the channel other ways, I have got links to affiliate links to so many vendors down below. I'm not even going to get into the big ones: Blade HQ, Knives Ship Free, GP Knives, Artisan, all that stuff down below. We know you're going to buy knives, use those links. If you're going to buy stuff on Amazon, please use my Amazon store. That link is down below. Take that, pin it to your browser, use it for any shopping you're going to do. And you can look at joining my membership, where I've set up a private Discord for all of the members. I do giveaways for the secondary tiers of members, the baseline and premium guys. And the premium guys have access to a sharpening tutorial series here on YouTube. And I've also built a community Discord for everyone. There's a link to that down below as well. Guys, that's it on this one. I love y'all. Keep it clean in the comments section. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. I'll see you in the next video.